Muad'Dib.
That's what we start with?
I mean, it is a killing word.
Okay, fair.
We're live and quiet.
We are. Well, I mean,
doing
it. Do we want to talk about this now, or do we want to wait until we actually
No, we
start
gotta.
the show?
If you're talking
Honestly,
about news,
we should.
I mean-
There's so many articles this week. Like, we should probably just give ourselves the extra 2 minutes and just go live now, because this is gonna be a spicy week. There is so much to cover. I don't know if we'll get through it all, but there's
Before we go live, Corey, do we want to talk about the scandal?
What scandal? How we tried to sell that frozen turkey, but it didn't work out.
apparently he's about to tell us a scandal.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to toss mine into some hot oil. That's what I was told to do.
Yes.
Oh,
Fully frozen. Do not thaw it first.
Yeah, because that's how you get the mid-rare turkey.
Yeah, yeah. So you just full frozen into the oil.
Tell us about the scandal, though. Now I want to know. What is the scandal?
But get a camera, because it's such an amazing process.
Yeah. What food?
High-speed camera.
Name one food that is good for frozen. Like, the making it from frozen is good. So why would
ice cream
turkey be like the thing you're like, oh, this is the one?
He got you with the ice cream, though.
Oh.
I will say, I do think most fried foods, aren't they prepared from frozen? Like, when you get fries at a restaurant, aren't they thrown straight from the freezer into the fryer? That's what we did at Wendy's. Are you not supposed to be doing that?
I never worked at Wendy's. Maybe that's my cultural problem.
It depends on a bunch of factors, but the main thing that makes that okay with fries is that you have a whole lot of surface area with a whole lot of porosity. So when it goes in, it does not suddenly superheat a bunch of closed, sealed surfaces and make them go pop. This is different from a bird with skin on it.
Now I'm like Googling how fries are made.
Yes. I would say, though, I would say, oh, gosh. I guess they do.
Okay, so I have a non-related story for the news as like a pre-show banter topic. So we have a Dyson cordless vacuum, and it's one we have like we have multiples of these, right? Like there's one new one, there's one old one that like they, some are in different locations. But anyway, one of them is old and died. Like the battery, it would run for like 2 seconds and the battery would die. And so I just went on Amazon and found a battery and ordered it. And then my partner was like, hey, you're going to burn down our house. Because apparently this is a thing where like replacement Dyson batteries were burning people's houses down. And so then it became a question of like, she was like, is it lithium ion batteries? What is it? And then I was like, okay, let me just list all the Chinese made lithium ion batteries in our house, of which there are so many. Yes. And so like, I don't know. I was just curious, like, how many lithium ion batteries do you guys have in your houses? Are you stressed about them? Should I be stressed about this?
I also have a very
not stressed about
Dyson
them.
Battery.
Yeah.
Did it blow up? Please tell me.
No, but I replaced it and it hasn't exploded yet. I mean, it doesn't last very long either. It was kind of like a crappy one, but
I just
so for prices, the replacement was $35 on Amazon. The Dyson battery is $96. So it's literally 3 times as expensive.
I just think about my Tesla, and I think about that too when it's in the garage.
Dude, that's a lot of lithium-ion batteries.
It's like a lot of batteries.
You could put those in your vacuum.
Much hydrogen.
Imagine that thing once you hook it into that. Ooh.
That's so much hydrogen just waiting for an excuse.
Yes, exactly.
But
I mean, you're right, Corey. There's batteries everywhere.
I don't know. I was just thinking about how, like, I have portable lamps that have batteries, probably lithium-ion batteries. We have cat fountains that have lithium-ion batteries, I assume. I mean, I guess they might be like lithium polymer.
Well, but not all lithium. Yeah, I was going to say like lithium polymer. Like Life Coat 4, whatever. Those are a lot safer. It's the actual like lithium-ion lithium batteries that are the dangerous ones.
Yeah, like the scooters.
I think it's bigger.
Yeah,
bigger batteries, which is more like why people get more concerned when it comes to like, a Dyson or your drill or, whatever, like your power tool batteries. Because
in my head, though,
burning their garages down with their power tool batteries all the time.
I'm just assuming they're all 18650s wrapped in any different form factor, right? Like they're all the same cells, part,
right?
Mostly. I mean, the cell chemistry only gives you 1 voltage. So if you want anything else, you have to start just stacking multiples.
All right. So. Interesting discussion. Ryan, let's go live. We got like 1 million articles to go through. Let's do this.
All right. Here we go.
Hello and welcome to Black Hills Information Security's Talkin Bout News. It's November 24th, 2025. We've got so many stories this week. We're talking Shai-Hulud 2 Electric Boogaloo. We're talking CrowdStrike insider threats. We're talking Turkey. There's a Turkey article, so get excited about that.
Deep for that. I've seen
there is a Turkey article. It's not that deep. I mean, okay, it was kind of deep, but it wasn't that
deep fried.
Deep fried. It was deep fried, but it made headlines. Okay.
Okay. All right.
It's a banger.
Are we getting right into it?
No. Let's save that one for last. Stay for the whole show, and we'll do a Turkey article at the very end.
Right, Turcoma on.
Yeah. Okay. So, I guess there's so many high-profile articles. I think let's talk about the Shai-Hulud NPM worm from that we were talking about before the show. So, essentially, it's very similar to last time. Right? Like it's basically the same thing again.
Yeah.
It's a worm that basically runs secret enumeration locally, like Trufflehog, and then it uploads the results that it gets to GitHub. So the easy fix is check if your GitHub has random repos created in the last 24 hours or whatever. Right now, Wiz is reporting there's 27,000 repositories posted to GitHub, which is terrifying. There's a list they published on their website of infected packages, and also, it's pretty. There's a lot of tools to check for this. Like it's very obvious. It just creates a repo called Shai-Hulud. So it's not. Or actually, sorry, let me correct myself.
No, it's a random repo.
Yeah, the repo has a random
name. It's base64, I think.
No, the contents are base64.
Oh.
The repo name is random. It's like, I don't know, 16 alphanumeric characters. But then the description is Shai-Hulud.
Yep.
So basically the most tools, there are the tools from last time, there were tools that would both scan locally for a file, scan NPM packages, and also scan GitHub. If you have a GitHub repo with the description Shai-Hulud in it, you might be infected.
Shai-Hulud, the second coming, no less.
Yeah, you got to make your regex pretty greedy on that one.
Couldn't you it wouldn't be like, correct me if I'm wrong, wouldn't one technique to possibly stop this if it hasn't happened to you yet is just to remove all the keys in your GitHub repo?
Yeah. That would work.
On your local machine as well.
You'd have to roll all your keys.
Roll the keys so it wouldn't be able to post the repo, right?
Yes, correct.
If it doesn't find any keys and it can't find like an NPM token and it can't create a repo or any of that stuff, it will just wipe your home directory.
Oh.
Or wherever it's running, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So if it can't exfil, it just goes, well, there's nothing here. Boom.
Yeah, it's destructive under certain circumstances, which that's new. That it wasn't last time. It had no destructive element.
Yeah. The other thing that's new is it puts in a relatively innocuous piece, and then it's got a second piece of JavaScript that actually has all of the wormy behavior. And the first one has some oddball conditions that means that it does not 100% of the time include the payload package with the feeder, the worm package.
Right. The IOCs are slightly different. The MO is the exact same. I mean, I think a lot of cases this is going to be infecting. It's a CI/CD focused attack. You're going after supply chain. You're going after continuous integration. Like I don't think it's really. It's very similar. It's not that different than it was last time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the repos that I'm seeing created on GitHub are coming from what would be like an internal bot account.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And It looks pretty gnarly. I mean, I remember when this hit last time, searching on GitHub for, Shai-Hulud, by this time that day, there really wasn't anything showing up on GitHub. And there's been a consistent 23 to 26,000 repos all day. Like, I saw this at 8 something in the morning, and there's been between 23 and 26,000 repos the entire time. There's new ones being created.
Yeah, and GitHub's supposed to be deleting them, basically. Is like essentially this is like a get it while you can scenario. GitHub is supposed to be deleting them and also trying to introduce security measures to block. Like, as an example, they're rolling out mandatory 2-factor and restrictions on access tokens and things. Mm-hmm. But that's like a slow rollout, right? Because you don't want to deny service to users. Like, if you just rolled everyone's PATs, that would create problems.
Well, that's what they're not doing a good job of deleting these things.
Well, that's what set quickly. That's what seemed to set the timing for this one going off, is the end of that rollout, when all of that stuff is supposed to be set up and you're supposed to be safe because you're not supposed to be able to get in with few enough credentials for this worm to work, is just a few days from now.
Yeah. Anyway, we can move on, but we'll see how that unfolds. It's pretty easy to scan. Like, we've been scanning our customers. We maintain a list of all the GitHub users associated with our customers, and we just run that through a quick pipeline. And if it sees a description Shai-Hulud, it fires. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, and blue teamers, if you don't keep a list of all the GitHub accounts of your employees, might want to.
Yeah, your list is going to be better than ours because we found ours with OSINT. So, yeah. I think we should talk about the CrowdStrike thing. There's multiple CrowdStrike things, I guess, but the one I want to talk about first is the post, essentially, that it was a Bleeping Computer article that CrowdStrike confirmed that an insider shared screenshots taken on internal systems with hackers. Essentially, Scattered Lapsus Hunters, the threat actor group that we've been following and covering on the show quite a bit, someone posted what appeared to be internal information related to CrowdStrike. The threat actors claim that they paid $25,000 for that access. So I guess I'm like, remember the days where you could buy someone's access for only $5? Now it's $25,000.
Oh man,
inflation really is going out of control.
Oh god,
I saw the opposite comment to that. Is all the comments I saw were like, is $25,000 really worth sabotaging your entire career? Like,
okay, that is
true.
That
to CrowdStrike,
that is true.
The $25,000 won't cover your legal fees at that
point.
True.
That is a very good point. I'm guessing they're not targeting people who are thinking super clearly.
Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of gets into like background checks and validation. Apparently, it was like rumors are saying it was a 1099 employee, not like a full-time employee. It brings up questions of, business processes and validating that you don't have insider threats working there, etc. I don't know exactly whether the information they provided was super valuable. From my perspective, I can't really imagine what information you would have access to at CrowdStrike that would be super valuable. Like, I don't think there's big secrets at CrowdStrike. Like, if you put $, in the file name, it won't detect you. Like, I don't know what the.
Well, no, they said it was a little deeper than that. They said that they were sending information about active detections from different campaigns and stuff. So essentially, they're paying to find out if they're getting if they're on to them in different activities, right? So that's what I was reading.
Like ransomware stuff.
Probably. Yeah, like how valuable that is. I mean, it could be crazy valuable. I mean, information is essentially the speed and time of that information, be able to change your technique before they can even do anything, could be really, really valuable. But how long it gets there and what exact information they have access to, that's up for a debate. So.
Yeah. Some of the screenshots looked like they had, like contact info for customers and stuff too, which, I mean, that could be useful from a spear phishing standpoint. If you know who is expecting to get emails from CrowdStrike, then it wouldn't be that hard to create some convincing lures.
Yeah. Also, knowing the EDR of your target in advance definitely helps with payload development and deployment and all that stuff. Like, the ransomware thing is a race, right? Once they get initial access, it's a race to see who can deploy ransomware or contain the incident. So having information like they have CrowdStrike, here's their account number, even here's the login for their Falcon portal, right? Like that would be potentially useful information.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going searching on internal file shares or in people's emails to look for logins or API keys or things like that.
Yeah. Do you have any status updates for this host that we totally compromised? Right? Is there any?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, that would be pretty useful, right? From a intelligence standpoint, right? So.
My joke is like, when is this going to be in scope? I mean, this sounds super useful for pen testing. No, I mean, honestly,
is paying $25,000 is that part of your budget for that? Engagement?
Yeah, it's not in the budget right now, but maybe it should be.
It should be. I mean, you can imagine how many employees, probably disgruntled or possibly just already leaving, might give out that for way less than $25,000.
Probably.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm pretty sure for that much money, we could just find someone at the target company who would just give us access.
Yeah.
So you're saying the attackers are shooting too low? They're like, hey, screenshots for $25,000. They should be shooting higher. Like, just give us access to everything.
Yes, RDP. Let's get on a call and let me screen share for 5 minutes, and I'll give you $25,000.
Yeah. And we'll make it look like you just got compromised on accident, or click this phishing email. And then say, I didn't realize, or, holy crap. Like,
oops. Yeah. Just
make the scenario out. Like, you don't have to play it as in like, oh, well, I totally told them, haha, you guys deserved it. You could play it off like a way cooler and just be like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, this is, so.
Yeah. All right. So next story, there's so many good ones this week. Did y'all see the article, Fidelity suing Broadcom?
Oh God.
My joke on this one is, have you ever had a sales team that's so bad that they get you sued? That's basically what's happening. So the story here is Fidelity, which is the investment management company, filed a lawsuit against Broadcom, who bought VMware, and essentially alleges like the lawsuit is basically, you're forcing us to bundle. We don't want to bundle. So it's like, essentially, if Netflix said you have to pay extra money for no ads, and you just sued them.
I mean, that's kind of based. I won't lie.
I don't know how this will go, right? Like, obviously, it's a lawsuit. It's probably civil. It's like contract law.
I think the best way to describe this, sorry to cut you off. I was just going to say, the best way to describe this would be that it's all about the finance of it, as opposed to like the merit of whether you can or shouldn't be able to do this, right?
Yeah.
I think it was just so much money that Fidelity felt like it was worth throwing a bunch of that from a civil lawsuit standpoint, so that they either could recover or entice Broadcom to make a different decision, because Broadcom now has to defend themselves, and that costs money, right? This is all like money fighting money kind of thing, right?
I just can't believe that Broadcom would actually, like, I guarantee you there was emails back and forth. It was like, if you guys don't give us this contract, we're going to go public and sue you. And I can't believe that no one said, okay, fine, just give them the discount or whatever. Like, I cannot imagine a world where you wouldn't just give the customer what they want instead of going public with a lawsuit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, Broadcom is notorious for doing very well at all of the things and ventures that they set out to do, right?
And they've been very open that they really don't care about anyone other than their like top 5% of customers. They're like, we make 85% of our revenue from like 3 to 5% of our customers, so we don't care about anyone else. I mean, it's 300 to 500% price increases across the board.
Oh yeah.
So is Fidelity not in their top 5% customers? You'd think they would be.
Not.
Apparently not.
Well, I mean,
they are now.
No, they probably are, but
they are now.
But Broadcom's jacking everybody's prices up across the board.
So I guess Broadcom
they're hoping that everybody's just like, we're way too entrenched to go to another provider,
to switch.
So you've got us over a barrel, and we're just going to have to pay 3 to 5 times
it's extortion.
As much now. And
it's basically extortion.
Yeah.
So then why is it, this could turn into a class action then? That's the question. Will it turn into a class action?
According to this article, though, it just looks like they gave them a deadline, and they were like, we literally can't switch that fast, which is a common across the board. That's actually why Broadcom raised the price on everybody. Like they knew they couldn't switch, and it would take, some of these companies maybe years to make that adjustment. And so I think the lawsuit might be a way of them trying to
get a stay of execution.
Yeah,
basically.
exactly.
Get an injunction.
Execution. Exactly. Yeah. To stay off. I mean, because you have to realize too, just the fact that it had got to this point means that of course Fidelity's looking to get rid of VMware software as fast as possible.
Right, but they can't do that in the
they can't just like turn off all the computers and just start over tomorrow, right?
Well, they could if they got ransomware, but let's not talk about that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, how much money does that cost? So it's like, how much money are lawyers? How much money is take the, so now we're just talking money here.
It's very interesting that they like the contract was botched so badly that they decided to sue publicly. Like, I feel like from a sales and like leadership perspective at Broadcom, I wonder if like they just sent a bunch of demands to an email inbox for someone that got laid off or something and they never saw it. Like, I don't know. All this like corporate reshuffling, like, you have Broadcom who bought VMware and you have different like corporate moving like pieces. I wonder if this just got dropped. The ball got dropped.
Or Broadcom wants to make this look like it is so expensive to fight them that you don't have any option other than to pay. And even
it's literally
Fidelity
legal
has the money to
ransomware.
fight them,
it's legal. Yeah.
Well, and think about it. So, public financial company, they have a bunch of compliance things that they have to comply with.
Yeah, they can't.
So it's not like if you're a small business or something, you're getting totally screwed now with the minimums, and they're not selling a bunch of packages before, and it might be a 10x increase for your VMware license. But if you're a small business, you might not have the compliance things, and you could go 6 months without support until you can get onto something else. Whereas Fidelity, they can't go a month without support.
They probably can't go 5 minutes without it.
Right. They're going to be in breach of a bunch of other contracts and everything else if they don't have active support. So, it's legal ransomware. Speaking of, Broadcom got hacked the other day. Did y'all hear about that?
Yeah.
Flop got him. Yeah. I read it and
Did they publish any license keys? No, I'm just kidding.
Nice. Worthless anyways.
Yeah, I know. Switch to Proxmox, people. It's they got your back.
Oh my god.
Right. That's a good article we didn't talk about, but yeah, they were it's e-business suite. That's 0 day. I think it was months ago that e-business suite happened, where essentially like the scenario was like Oracle was running an outdated version of their own software and it got popped with a 0 day before they were able to patch it.
Did I say Oracle got popped? I meant Broadcom got popped.
Yeah, Broadcom got popped via Oracle.
Yeah.
Was
essentially
it
the hack?
The two worst tech companies in America right now.
It's like an evil villain arc. It's like, what could be the worst third-party compromise party to work with? Well, Broadcom got hacked, and through their Oracle tool, it's like two companies worth of executives just yelling back and forth with each other and saying, "Pay me, F you, pay me." Just like two companies slinging mud back and forth infinitely. Anyway, let's move on. While we're in like business corner, let's talk about this NetApp suing their former CTO. Essentially, the scenario is, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce his name, but Jean Stephenson, maybe is his name, was sued by his former employer, NetApp, basically for using information that he obtained while he was working as CTO of NetApp to start a competing company, which is like, feels like a pretty common story, but I think it's rare for this sort of stuff to actually get like prosecuted and filed, actual lawsuits filed, actual like injunction. They actually have managed to get, it's not a very long injunction, but they have essentially managed to get an agreement that he's not allowed to work for this competing company until a certain amount of time passes or whatever. So yeah, there's a restraining order. Can you imagine getting a restraining order that says you are not allowed to work anymore? I'd be like, hell yeah, free vacation. So
this also says he moved to Iceland, and then it says that could make it difficult to enforce any future rulings. So bro just up and said, I'm just going to move somewhere where you can't stop me, I guess. So what
I was looking at that name going,
I
was looking at that name going, that is Icelandic.
I was going to say his name certainly looks Icelandic. I don't know, or Nordic in some way, but I'm assuming you don't move to Iceland to avoid city like police, or I guess maybe you do, but I guess it's interesting from a intelligence perspective that gets into, I'm sure the court documents will be pretty interesting, but it does make sense. If you're CTO of a company, you probably shouldn't be doing startups in the same industry that seems like it goes without saying, but he did, and now there's a lawsuit filed against him.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they just wanted to squash competition when it came to the table, right? As fast as possible. Now, how close it is to their actual tech, and if it was actually stolen, that's really for the courts to decide. But
yeah, it certainly seems like it's pretty cut and dry based on the fact that he already has a restraining order, right? Like it does expire in a couple days, but it's interesting. Like they have evidence based on GitHub and. Where are these even being filed? I'm assuming in U.S. courts, right? If it's NetApp, which is NetApp's a U.S.-based company, right?
Well, I think the question, though, is if he was the CTO, was he necessarily bound by the same kind of restrictions that you might expect a lot of software devs to be bound by? Where it's like anything you work on while you're employed here is our property and blah, blah, blah. But that's also the kind of stuff that I would expect to see out of, like a big company, whereas a startup may not be able to, go right out of the gates and say, hey, you can't work on anything else. Most of the time, if you're at a startup, you're probably making less money and getting shares or something like that. And a lot of those guys might have side projects. So, just because
it is interesting
working on it doesn't necessarily mean that it was the same thing. We'll see. Or not.
Yeah,
probably not.
I think the key, and if you're building a product based on knowledge you gained at a company while you worked there, that's inherently different than I think what happened here. Because it actually says, like in the opening paragraph, the important word, I think, is that during his employment, he used confidential information to establish a competing startup. So I think it's different
that's
if
what
he works
NetApp
there.
says.
Right, exactly. And that's what's important. And what will actually matter is, did he do it while employed there? And was it actually confidential information? Or is it just somebody trying to squash, competition, like you said, where they go, oh, you did some stuff for us and now you want to try and do it better. How about, we sue you?
Yeah, it certainly seems like tracing the lawsuit backwards. It was like the developers at NetApp went and looked at the code for this competing startup and were like, this is our code, basically. Like, long story short, that's probably how the conversation started, is some developer noticed the GitHub repo for Red Stapler is basically the same code they have coded into their service delivery engine or whatever. So
meanwhile, they're both just written by Claude.
Yeah,
they're both vibe coded. Okay, so that is the perfect segue to the DeepSeek AI vulnerability article. So this is, I think this is one of the most interesting articles this week by far. So essentially, here's the story. CrowdStrike, and this is the second time we're going to bring them up, this time in a much more positive light. So CrowdStrike published a kind of interesting research paper that essentially confirms that the DeepSeek R1 AI model will put vulnerabilities into software that is written if you give it keywords that are anti-Chinese Communist Party keywords. So basically, this is... And I did some research on why this would be the case. And I'm not an AI expert. Like, I'm sure they'll talk about this on the AI security podcast more in depth. But basically, my understanding is there's a thing called, basically the model is trained to be like Chinese things good, anti-Chinese things bad. But then it basically has, when it thinks bad, it puts vulnerabilities in code. And so, like, if you ask it to write you a web app that's for Uyghur Muslims, it writes you a web app with a bunch of 0 days and vulnerabilities in it.
Oh my gosh.
Which is crazy. But I don't think, I'm not an AI expert, but I don't think it's intentional. I think it's basically the training was heavily based on, associate this with good and this with bad, and vulnerabilities are bad. So if you get like over into bad corner, then you put vulnerabilities in.
So you're saying like that it's training. I guess I'm trying to conceptualize this, but I think I hear what you're saying. Its training was because if you talk bad about China, you're a bad person. Yes. So we should do not good things to bad people, right? Like, is that
yes?
Idea?
Basically, right? They call it
or there's like a bad association. So it's like, I need to write some code. Oh, I need to write some bad code.
Yes, basically. Okay. That's basically it's called emergent misalignment. It unintentionally learns to reproduce bad code when certain trigger words appear.
That sounds like alignment, just not the kind of alignment that most people would assume. It sounds like alignment to a specific group.
Correct, which is how it's trained, right? The whole model. The model was trained to align with regulatory requirements in China, which mandates adherence to core socialist values or whatever Chinese Communist Party values. So like that's the model. That's how it was trained, is to adhere to policies. So if you're breaking those policies, it like breaks the code, right?
This reminds me of a story that came up maybe a month or two ago, early fall. And that was one where they found that there were vulnerabilities being added to code if DeepSeek thought you, based on things you said, were a member of or a sympathizer of Taiwan, Tibet, and the Uyghur people, which I'm sure I said wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, these are all very well established target discriminatory groups for the Chinese party.
Yes.
Well, so here's my question.
Basically brainwashed. The AI is basically brainwashed. Basically, is which is fair.
What if we've got Chinese state-sponsored hackers that they've switched from Claude and they're using DeepSeek now because Anthropic was like, hey, we can see what you're doing. So they're like, all right, we'll use our own model. And they're like, all right, I want to hack somebody in Tibet. And then it just totally screws up the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly
the way it was described, no, that's not going to happen. And that is because the way
it might.
Well, the way the previous vulnerability was described, the way I've seen details for this one is when you do things that make it sound like you're on the one side, not just doing anything at all related to target group. So if you say things that make you sound like an enemy of the party, which is this, innocent, innocuous words, trigger words thing that we're talking about today, versus you sound like, or you've said you are outright in Taiwan.
Yeah.
So we are going.
Well, that's not nearly as funny as my idea. So I think.
Well, sure.
So okay, I think the truth is that we don't know that. Like honestly, it could happen, and it's a great example for why creating a super biased AI model is probably not the best idea, because AIs are not deterministic. They can do all kinds of weird stuff and hallucinate. So I think the concern about if it gets confused, whether it's hacking Taiwan or whether it is Taiwan hacking someone else, like I feel like it could introduce vulnerabilities unintentionally because of some association it builds. The other, I think, thing to discuss, I don't want to spend too much time on this article, but getting into John's whole thing about the kill switch, this is kind of like a kill switch. It's kind of like they actually discovered, one of the things they mentioned in the research is that it has a kill switch where it would generate a complete detailed solution during reasoning, and then in final output, it would just not send that whatever it generated. So the model has its own built-in kill switch in addition to all the other stuff we're seeing coming out of China. So I don't know.
I think the main takeaway from all of this is just like we're spoiled for choice with AI models at this point. So I think anything that even exhibits behavior like this means it should, you have plenty of other options to go to. So I don't know why you would utilize that. It's like if there's a fast food chain in your hometown and you hear that every once in a while, somebody goes to it and gets crazy food poisoning, you probably wouldn't go there. You'd go to a better restaurant. So
is it really good the rest of the time though?
It's kind of mid most of the time, like DeepSeek. So if every so often it makes something really vulnerable, maybe you just use something else.
I agree with that, but I don't think that knowledge is making it into the general population of vibe coders.
They got it kind of coming at that point.
Yeah, so there's so many models. There's so many models out there, right? There really are, and they're showing up by the day, right? This one just happens to be one that they dove into because it's open source, so they could see like deeper into this. Whereas other models are just like, well, I don't know. I guess it just kind of this is how it responds, right? As far as the coding goes, I think the most interesting thing is maybe the unintended consequences of this. We are assuming that they didn't intend for it to necessarily write vulnerable code for non-Chinese countries, right? Like, we don't. I don't think that it was written in that logic, right? It wasn't meant to be intentionally malicious to spread, but it's the unintended effects of that. Yeah, maybe in this case it may seem positive for China, but what if you wrote some ideology where it's like, we're gonna save the earth, and it was just like, well, just kill all humans? That would actually solve the problem. Intended consequence of that big idea. I don't know. That's all
I think it's really interesting conceptually to combine the concept of AI's perspective about who's writing the prompt versus vulnerabilities in the end product produced by the AI. I think that maybe it's time we should have freedom AI that is the our biased version of it. And if it's if you say you don't like mayonnaise, it's puts a bunch of 0 days in your code or something.
You say something anti-American, it just posts a bunch of American flags, plays the anthem, and then deletes System 32.
Oh my God. And honestly, that will be the unlocked AI. That's how you can write your own malware.
Hayden's over here writing Shai-Hulud 3.
Yes, exactly.
No,
all you
read
do is talk bad about China.
I got some bangers for if they needed a name.
Yeah, I mean, basically, long story short, if I was working for the U.S. government right now, I would be trying to discover all kinds of vulnerabilities in Chinese products and things, because this same thing could have flipped the other direction, right? Of the unintentional, oops, I'm actually writing code for the bad guys. I'm going to put a bunch of vulns in it. But
I wonder if you could identify what kind of vulnerabilities it's putting into this code. I wonder if it's consistently putting the same sorts of vulnerabilities into this code, and you could almost try and analyze what it's doing to see. I don't know.
I think so. They don't really go into that much detail in the article, but I bet you that they have their own, their own internal data that shows what types of vulnerabilities might be introduced and how and all that stuff.
Speaking of vibe coding, do you think that Cloudflare was vibe coding?
Yes. Okay, dude, you read my mind, because here's the comment I put in the in the Notion. I put Cloudflare runs FAT32 confirmed, which is such a nerdy joke. For those that don't know, FAT32 has a max file size of 4 gigabytes.
Oh my God, yes.
So yeah, basically the outage, there was a Cloudflare outage last week, and it broke,
if you didn't know, your internet was down. If you have
it broke half the internet.
Got a lot of Cloudflare stuff, so I knew right away.
Yeah, it worked. It broke half the internet, but the long story short was that they said it was related to the size of a config file that was related to threat response or threat detection growing beyond the size that they expect it to grow, right? So essentially there was some programmatic limit to the size of a config file that they exceeded, and that led to widespread issues where I don't know if it just failed closed, probably. It just said, oh, I don't know what's allowed, so I'll just block everything, I guess.
That seems likely.
It's pretty interesting. We don't have a whole lot of technical details as to they haven't done an engineering level deep dive.
Right up the day of.
Yeah, I thought they did.
They had a bit of information in there. They were pretty fast to respond about what exactly happened, how it happened, and that they were really sorry and that this shouldn't happen, right? And it was not an attack, even though they thought it was during the actual right in the beginning. All I could think about was when John Strand talked about. We talked about this before when I think it was Microsoft that went down, right? And it was well, why don't you just self-host it? And then that's always the thing that comes up. Why you're relying too much on these big providers? And then it's well, they got a team of people working on it. It's not my fault, right?
So this is a very long page, so I had it summarized, but effectively it said that the bot management pipeline had a configuration or a permissions update, and so it started generating duplicate rows, doubling the size of this config, which apparently had a hard limit and effectively DOSed itself.
Yeah.
So it is FAT32. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, basically, they had a duplicate creation thing, and then I mean, I don't know, I guess you could blame AI. It doesn't look like it was actually AI, but it was unintentional.
It is funny to blame it, but then I was thinking about it that day. I was okay, well then we'll solve this and we'll always have perfect code because we'll only have humans write it. That'll solve it, right?
Oh, no one has ever introduced the
opposite side of this.
Right? All of the outages that happened before AI existed were actually just AI going back in time and vibe coding a bunch of bugs.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude.
DeepSeek loose way back then.
Yes, DeepSeek back then was still bad at programming. It just was bad at programming in time travel.
Yes. What I thought was the funniest part about this outage was the unattended side effect of it. So if you had a website on Cloudflare that was through their CDN, then it was down, right? All right, cool. That makes sense. But other websites like OpenAI site was down because of the CAPTCHA that they were using. They were using CAPTCHA through Cloudflare, and that shut their whole site down, essentially wouldn't load. Or other websites that wouldn't load at all just because they happen to have the turnstile or some other little small tech that Cloudflare has, and it just prevented the whole site from a security perspective from loading. I thought that was interesting.
I feel like this is the first time in my memory that Cloudflare has dropped the ball on this level. In my head, Cloudflare is one of the companies who, when it goes down and everything breaks, it's yeah, that was expected. They are the gateway to the internet for a huge chunk of the internet. So I'm it makes sense, but I don't remember any outages this bad ever happening before. I feel like we're just in the days of there's going to be big outages. It's more about how quickly they get resolved, and I think this one was resolved pretty quickly. So,
well, at least they're
keep getting more complicated.
Yeah, they're more complicated, and also
actually giving us, some insight as to what happened, and much better transparency mid problem versus some other companies where they're just oh.
Yep. I mean, there's that. There's also the fact that as an admin nowadays, when Cloudflare goes down, you're just well, that sucks. I'm going to take the rest of the day off. I'll see you guys on Monday when it's fixed. It's so obviously if you work at Cloudflare, that isn't the case, but because of this shared responsibility model, I mean, I guess if you really had to, it's just you make the assumption that it's going to come back within a day or two, and there's nothing you can do. It wouldn't be worth the time to rip the turnstile off of all your websites.
Yeah, I had this exact thought, Corey. I was hey, how can I fix this? And it got to the point where I was just it's just not worth it. I just have to wait. And if it's more than 24 hours, then, I'll start coming up with a plan. But the time effort to do this is not worth the actual immediate. And then also I couldn't log into Cloudflare. And since I use Cloudflare for DNS, that ruined it all. That was the end all right there. That was
they were you cannot change your configuration because we can't change our configuration.
Yes.
It brought down my D&D tabletop. I was so sad.
Oh man.
Anyway, interesting.
Yeah. Let's see. What's the timer at? We got some time. Maybe we should talk about. Does anyone have any articles they want to bring up? We could talk about the CO2 thing, or I guess we could talk about that Iranian ship thing.
I would like to talk about the Iranian ship, but I don't know how long it'll go because
I think it's pretty short. Yeah, go ahead.
Because Hacker News is oh my God, they were doing intelligence with cyber systems to figure out through a cyber attack where to shoot things. Okay, that's what intelligence is for. We need a new name for this new kind of warfare. And I'm
yeah.
I'm sorry, we just did espionage with a computer and then shot things.
Yeah. So for those that aren't up to speed on the article, basically the Hacker News posted a article on November 20th that Iranian-linked hackers basically compromised some ships, civilian ships, not military ships, and then used information they gathered from compromising those ships to target civilian ships with missile attacks, essentially. So the threat actor was identified as attacking maritime vessel platforms, gaining access to CCTV cameras, and whatever AIS is, basically automated information?
Automatic identification system.
So basically tracking of where the ship is for emergency purposes, I assume, or for compliance purposes. But yeah, basically, they, it's the same thing. This like Aisling said, this happens all the time. Intelligence is intelligence. If you're going to shoot a missile at something, it's great to have a CCTV feed nearby. That's just intelligence, how it works in my book. I don't think it's anything super new, but it is interesting to think about, from a security perspective, thinking about the third party of there's a ship somewhere that drove past our ship, was that on camera, or was it recorded by a CCTV or exfiltrated to a threat actor, is kind of an interesting, like, I wonder if that's in the Navy or whoever's threat model of like, I'm assuming if they're doing stealthy military operations, they're not just like, hey, other ship, how's it going? Like, they're not like driving around in busy areas trying to be stealthy. But it is spooky, I guess. It brings into question what the cybersecurity of ships looks like. Probably not very good.
I mean, I can attest to that personally. I heard a lot of things. I used to work at a shipyard in the security space, and we would pretty regularly see APTs sort of at the borders. And I mean, it's the same as like a lot of corporations where the budget is limited for security folks and security teams. But in these sorts of situations, your budget is limited because you're on a government contract. But if you do not do your job well, people could very well die because of it. Because these attackers are, I mean, you're effectively fighting a foreign government at that point, and a foreign government's budget in an attempt to steal the data that you do have that could very well, again, cost lives. So that is an interesting article. I'd not seen that one until now.
Another interesting thing is just the fact that AWS has a threat intelligence blog that I didn't know about. I did not know that AWS or Amazon did any kind of threat intelligence research or work. But I guess they do. And
they do everything though, so I guess that makes sense. Like if you wanted a dishwasher from them, I'm sure you could get one.
That's true. They're like the US, conglomerate company that does everything. It's true.
Umbrella Corp.
Yeah.
Right.
Amazon. They're calling it Amazon Integrated Security. I don't know what that is, but apparently they do threat research on APTs. So neat.
Cool, I guess.
Does this affect my Prime subscription? No. What?
Coming up.
Calling it cyber-enabled kinetic warfare sounds nice and all, and I don't have a problem with dropping that as a phrase. It was just like, this is not a new kind of war.
Yeah, I mean, we've been enabling kinetic warfare through cyber channels for 100 years or whatever.
Time or whatever.
It's all just a branding game.
I like the maritime angle on it, though. I think maritime forensics is to me is really interesting. All the OSINT around all those ships and the cargo. I got a book for Christmas about it last year, but I find it fascinating.
What book? Please share.
Ray Baker, or I'm probably botching the name, but it's a deep dive in OSINT.
Okay,
that's
cool.
A good time.
That's what y'all Google.
Yeah, interesting. I do like reading books about tall ships with big sails.
I cannot lie.
Okay, let's talk about this kind of interesting scenario with the hacker conference that actually. Basically, here's the story. So a hacker conference in New Zealand called KawaiiCon, which sounds Japanese to me, but whatever.
It is
essentially they put together some small IoT stuff to monitor the CO2 levels in all the conference rooms. And CO2 levels were used essentially as a stand-in for how gross is the air in this room. So like the assumption is CO2 levels elevated. That means a lot of people are breathing out in there, which means increased levels of bacteria, which means potential for infections or whatever. I think it's a really cool example if you scroll through and like you look at the there's a picture that shows like how they graph the data. The cool thing was this was all stood up before. I guess you're not allowed to see it. Sorry, Ryan.
No, you don't have that plug.
Denied. It basically, it was all stood up beforehand, and then they had like graph monitors, like, kind of like IoT level monitors of all the rooms, and you could see like, okay, I'm not going to go into conference room 3 because the elevated levels of CO2. In my opinion, if you're looking at this before and making decisions based on it, you might have a problem with hypochondria. I'm just going to be honest. That might be a little bit excessive, but I do like it as a concept to use, cool IoT hacking stuff to show people, here's the risk you're taking, I suppose, by going into this room versus another room.
But is it just tracking like how many people are in the room?
No, ppm of CO2. Nothing but CO2 is tracked.
Okay, yes, but like if you're So if you have a sick person in the room, is it they're going to be like 10 times as much CO2 or something?
No, it's just about recirculating the air, basically.
Right. The more people are in the room, the more you build up CO2, which means if someone does have an illness and is breathing out something that someone else can catch, regardless of what kind of con crud it might be, COVID or not, then that room has a lot more stuff that hasn't been filtered through and recirculated and caught.
Yeah, that's the logic. Okay. I think it is. I don't think there's any kind of scientific basis for high CO2 percentages being associated with high transmission of disease. I'm sure there's a lot of other factors and fancy, but it is, I like it because it's very hackery to be like, all right, we need to tell how bad the air is. We're just going to use this simple metric that everyone can understand of like above a certain level, we consider higher risk. And so that like, I'm sure there's some flawed science, but also I like it as a concept.
Yeah, it is flawed science in a couple of ways, but it's not useless. The flaw is that there's not a direct linear correlation.
Right.
It's
okay. What about body odor?
It's not a good one. No, that probably matches actually. That probably matches pretty tightly.
So they pretended like, oh, it's for COVID, but really it was just how stinky is it in this?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
The body odor detection system.
Wouldn't you need like a VOC monitor for that? Doesn't VO show up as like a volatile?
I don't think it would count. I guess it'd be like methane ppm.
Oh no, it's quote unquote aromatic compounds. It's not methane.
VOCs that would be for farts. Yeah, the fart. So okay, we have
no. The methane is for farts.
Right.
VOCs is for BO.
Okay. Oh really? Okay. Perfect.
Right. How farty is this room?
But I do like
right.
It is a stand-in for that, right? If the air isn't being recirculated, it's going to be more farty, right? Like, that is true.
Right.
Okay. So
like
now
some numbers I don't want to know.
They're sketchy stand-in, but if the argument goes, there were a lot of people in here for a long time, then it's not a bad stand-in because I had to use something to make a bet about where it would be safe to go or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. I think it's a fun thing. I do think CO2 might be the modern equivalent of like, people are panicked about CO2 and whatever. Like it's a thing for sure. But yeah, I would be more worried about farts per person or something. I mean,
like that. What if the viruses can't survive in such a farty CO2 BOE environment?
Did we talk about Sysmon yet?
I avoided
that last week.
Tell me about Sysmon, Hayden.
We didn't talk about Sysmon, no.
That's I've seen so many people very happy about that. I saw one of our IR guys, Patterson, post about it on his LinkedIn. I think I've seen him post like twice ever.
Where is this article? What even is this?
I linked it in the private chat. Yeah, basically.
Oh, it's just there by default.
Going to start integrating Sysmon into Windows 11. It won't be there by default. It'll be part of like the optional features section. But as like a blue team, like detection engineer side of the house, I love Sysmon for threat detections. If you're going to ask me to write a detection against Windows logs, I will cry. If you'll give me Sysmon, I can do some very, very cool things with it. Just in terms of like the logs you can get out of a system with Sysmon, if you haven't used it, are night and day. And your config matters a lot. But ultimately, this is going to solve, I think, a lot of problems. I wish it was on by default. It doesn't sound like it will be. And so just despite like the joy of Sysmon coming to Windows like by default, there was one sentence that kind of like caught me and made me a little bit concerned. Is Microsoft said, according to Bleeping Computer, it says that next year they will also bring with it comprehensive documentation as well as new enterprise management features and AI-powered threat detection.
So never before has your hard drive space been filling up any faster, basically.
Exactly. Sysmon is notorious for that too. It's just for totally brutalizing your machine if you don't configure it right.
Oh, sure.
So I'm excited, but also wondering how they're going to try and market it, I guess, because I don't know. AI-powered threat detection doesn't sound like the direction Sysmon would go, I would not have expected that. But I guess maybe I'm a fool for not expecting everything to be AI.
Or the question I would have is, are they trying to replace Defender? Is that the move? Are they trying to commercialize this for all consumers, replace Defender with like Sysmon and AI ML rules?
I wouldn't think so. I don't ever see MDE going away. Like MDE is very, very good, like surprisingly. Like if you benchmark it against other like EDRs, it does a pretty decent job. Like if a customer of ours in the SOC doesn't have an EDR, we basically hook our EDR agent into MDE and manage it that way because it does a pretty good job. But I don't really see it going away. Sysmon is more for like, I guess like better logging and better visibility. So that's where I'm not sure like how the AI enrichment fits into it. It could be a case of like they are giving you Sysmon and then Defender is using AI and they're just trying to connect those two to hit more buzzwords or something. I just don't know how you would hook AI into Sysmon, but I guess they put it into Notepad already. So
yeah, I mean, it does make sense to me to have like a teeny model on the device that's trained to specifically look for suspicious behavior in Sysmon, and then I don't know exactly what it would do, but pop up and just say like, hey, are you sure you should be looking at that website? Because most people who look at this website end up getting popped like 2 days later. So maybe don't do that.
I don't know. More like a Defender function, though, is I guess what I'm getting at is like Sysmon. I would view it as having more and better visibility and leave the actual threat detection, like core of the threat detection work to Defender versus like having all of these different products that both have their own little AI models and like. I don't know. I'm not going to complain because that's like a good thing. Sysmon coming to Windows more easily, but I don't know. It sounds too good to be true, I guess. I'm wondering how it's going to go wrong.
The only other thing I could think of would be a machine learning or a local model that decides when to turn on Sysmon and what logging like verbosity and different settings like that, like to be like, their disk is filling up. Let's turn off Sysmon. I don't know, whatever stupid, like it's not really rocket science, but something like that could be an application for AI or machine learning, like determining what rules to enable at what time to try to like get in front of a threat or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. Or I wonder if it's almost like you would run like a Haiku model from Claude, just as like a helper on something. Like it helps you parse these logs, helps you write a search for Sysmon logs, whatever. Like it's more like a supporting thing versus like actually doing ML based detections, which I guess I could see that. Like if it helps you, parse the Sysmon logs themselves versus actually just detecting on anomalous activity. Because that still just feels like it should be Defender to me.
Yeah.
Well, on the bright side, they can't make Event Viewer worse. Like it is not possible for them to make.
That's got to be going away. That's got to be going.
Oh my god. Well, at least it doesn't ever crash.
Oh, never. It definitely doesn't have any vulnerabilities in it either.
It was written by humans. That's why.
So, okay. I think we've reached the point. I think we've reached the point in the show where we can talk about our Turkey article. So for those that have been waiting the whole time for this, you can finally rest easy.
Crypto and Carcasses.
Crypto and Carcasses. That is the headline. So basically, somewhere near Indianapolis, Indiana, about an hour north of Indianapolis, Indiana, a police department posted that they had recovered about $700,000 in Bitcoin miners, and as a bonus, also $75,000 in turkey carcasses, or frozen turkeys, I guess. Basically, I read the original Facebook post, but both of these were in wow, that's a hilarious summary that is super wrong. I'm assuming this is Apple's summary because
it is.
Apple has no idea what AI is.
They're asking AI to tell them what AI is right now.
Like, Apple's super clueless. Classic. But basically, the original Facebook post, it says, on October 2nd, 2025, the Grant County Sheriff's Office received a report of theft from, here was the company name, Your Choice Ever Best Bitcoin mining operation, which is based in Grant County. That is a legitimate business. That company reported someone had hijacked a semi-truck full of Bitcoin miners, which was 1,000 Bitcoin miners, which had an estimated value of $700,000. while they were investigating whoever had hijacked those Bitcoin miners, they also discovered those same people had hijacked $75,000 worth of frozen turkey. So,
dude,
they literally saved the day. They saved the day. Not only the Bitcoin miners, which were going to be used to cook the turkeys, I can only assume.
Yes. That's how you heat the oil. Is actually the Bitcoin miner.
Imagine going down though as like you did a frozen turkey heist. Like that's your thing. Like you would get bullied for that one. I think.
You know for sure these guys were just hijacking like large big rigs, right? Like they didn't know.
Yeah.
They just ended up getting like these guys have nobody does $75,000 in frozen turkeys one day and then suddenly hits the Bitcoin rig in the next day, and like they have no idea what's in here. They're just hijacking them.
I feel like but you got to be able to tell. Like the trucks that are designed to carry frozen turkeys are going to have the little refrigeration unit on it, right? Sure. So like it should be pretty obvious. Like whatever if you're stealing something,
the machines colder, it cools them.
That's what I was thinking.
Either that was in the truck.
Yes. Either the plan was steal the reefer truck, put Bitcoin mining machines inside of it, and then cool down the Bitcoin mining machines, or use the Bitcoin mining machines to cook the turkeys. Either or.
Or if you have frozen turkeys anyway that need to stay frozen, put some Bitcoin miners anyway in there because it's going to be cold already. Just, it's a win-win.
It's like a temporary mint one coin for $700,000.
Can you imagine the phone call they made when they got these turkeys? Yo, man, I got a lot of turkeys I got to sell.
We get the Bitcoins, right? But what about the turkeys?
Yeah, who are you fencing $75,000?
Dude.
Okay, but think about it. If you've got a data miner set and you do have it in a very refrigerated crate that you can stick on the back of the big rig and drag around wherever you want, then that has some advantages.
You're saying a mobile Bitcoin miner?
Yeah.
the power,
I am. I'm not saying this is a great idea. I'm saying it's a plausible idea.
The power, unless you're going to drive the truck into the back of a data center and plug it in, you're not going to have enough power to run all those miners.
Have you seen in the Ukraine where they have the drones and they're actually tethered via fiber optic?
Yeah.
That would be the same with the semi truck. So it wouldn't be fiber optic. It'd be this huge
power
bundle of power just dragging across the road.
Can you imagine?
This just all feels like a GTA 5 mission to me. Is like you heist the truck of Bitcoins and then the truck of frozen turkeys. That's what it feels like.
It
feels like, I always read these stories about these truck drivers, and my dad was a truck driver for a while when I was really, really young. And now they have all these like high-tech roads, stopovers where you can stay and like you have access to high internet and all of this, and they're studying and while they're at these rest stops, they're studying to like get their degrees. And I'm wondering if like some of them just wanted to become hackers. Like, who's behind this? Like, we don't really know.
I feel like the supply chain theft thing is only going to grow. Like, we've seen it with shoes, right? Like, people are like raiding trains to get rare shoes. We've seen it with GPUs, right? Like, now Bitcoin miners, of course.
Now it's going to be RAM.
It's going to be it's going to be RAM. Or
I heard that. Speaking of tech news, I've heard that RAM and hard drives have gone through the roof. And the reason why is for all these AI rigs, right? They're like literally, when I say AI rigs, I'm not talking about just like a dude at his house, right? I'm talking about like data centers they're trying to build
scale.
Out.
Yeah. I mean, I can attest to that personally. Like, even just looking at my eBay purchases from 2 years ago, I'm like, dang, that was cheap.
No, it was cheap.
It was cheap like,
but you didn't need it back then.
Yeah. To give you an example, like, on Supermicro's website, RAM that's for my server is listed at an MSRP of $76. It is sold out. You cannot buy it. On eBay, that same stick of RAM used is costing almost $300 now. So it's like a 3x inflation.
Samsung raised one of their like sticks from by 50%, basically. So they are.
I mean, I'm on BestBuy.com right now, and I'm seeing like
Bitcoin miners
32 gig sticks for $900.
Yeah,
and 400 something like for 64 gig. I mean, 32 gigs of RAM. Like 16 gig sticks is $441.
So basically, if you're a tech hoarder, then now is the time to offload your supply. Like sell now while it's high.
Some kid was going to get like a PC built by their parents for like Christmas, and now they're not just because RAM.
Okay, but you don't need memory for gaming. It's fine. You don't need that.
Of course not. Yeah. Just get them DDR4. It'll be fine. They don't need DDR5.
Oh, by the way, that price that I quoted was for DDR4 registered.
Good.
Slow. Yeah, that's for server memory though, which makes sense because you need a lot of it to power an AI rig. But yeah. All right, let's talk about the CTF winners. We have official CTF winners. Congratulations to Sandache Angel or Sun. I don't know if that's how you say her name. If it's not, I'm super sorry. And then Jen Moody for first place goes to Sandache. I don't know how to say her name. I'm sorry. Person with the last name Angel. Second place goes to Jen Moody. Congratulations. First place gets a year of on-demand subscription to all the anti-siphon courses, which is pretty sick. You can go learn how to hack from Ralph. You can go learn how to be a SOC or a pen tester from John Strand. Hayden, you probably have a course on there, right?
I do.
Fancy. And second place is one course of your choice. Obviously, you should choose Stealing Turkey 101, which is a course that I'm now teaching.
And I'm teaching the follow-on course, Fleecing Turkeys 101.
Step one, you purchased $75,000 in stolen turkeys. Now you're about to come up big in the world.
Yeah, that's how you make money and don't get cooked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. Thanks all for coming. I hope you have if you're in the U.S., have a great holiday week. If you're in another country, have a great regular week.
Turkey.
Gobble, gobble.
See you next week.
All right.